Hello, I'm Jeremy Fowler, Vikings beat writer. This is Brian Murphy, my colleague, fellow Vikings beat writer, and it's a little nostalgic today. This is my last Wednesday practice on the beat. I'm actually taking a job with CBS Sports covering college football, so it's a little sad. This is my last pizza day with PR guru Bob Hagan in the office. That's probably the most important thing to address, but you know, we're out here at practice and it's a beautiful day, and these are things that I'll miss. Checking it up here with Murphy, who makes me stand a couple inches lower on the hill here.
So he's selling me out on the way out of town.
So I don't look as tall, but that's okay. And you know, we're here to talk about the Vikings. So it's been fun. And first of all, what are the Vikings going to do to stop what's arguably the best team in the league right now?
Yeah, the most balanced team in the league, especially offensively. I mean, there's a lot of weapons. They like to go to Vernon Davis underneath. They've got a good running game. I mean, you got Randy Moss, Michael Crabtree. I mean, there's so many weapons offensively, and this is a really tough, physical, kind of a throwback football team. The Vikings are really going to have their hands full, and I, you know, it's interesting because, you know, the 49ers were here 3 years ago exactly on week 3, and Brett Favre, of course, had his miracle time-expiring touchdown pass to Greg Lewis. And it's interesting to see where each franchise has gone since. And the Vikings were on the verge of going to the Super Bowl that year. 2 years later, the Niners were in the same position, losing in overtime in the NFC Championship game. And now they're the elite team right now, coming in looking for, you know, probably some easy pickings this week.
Sure. I mean, after that 2009 season, the Vikings have won 10 games, where the Niners are doing that and more per season now. You're right, really a tough-nosed team going retro in a pass-happy league. I do think it's at least intriguing that the Vikings, in my mind, have a shot, because this is the kind of matchup that they like on defense. For all their defensive deficiencies, they want to stop the run, and they're still pretty good at that. The Niners are going to run the ball all day, and the Niners aren't going to go deep very often. They've only had a couple plays where they've tried to go longer than 20 yards. They're going to keep everything in that short to intermediate range. That kind of buys the Vikings a little bit of a break, who tend to give up big plays. This gives them a little bit of a cushion to at least have a chance. You know, I don't think the Niners are going to blow out anybody. You know, they're a steady team, but it's not like they're putting up 40 points. So the Vikings do have a shot.
But then again, they were facing Green Bay and Detroit, which arguably has a better secondary right now, and the Vikings are pretty vulnerable back there. They've proven that they really still aren't capable yet of making those big plays to either shut down teams or momentum-changing kind of plays. Still no interceptions.
So they're not ball hawks?
They're not ball hawks. Okay. I mean, they've been trying to be ball hawks. They're not ball hawks. They haven't proven to be ball hawks yet. So this may be a situation where, yeah, San Francisco doesn't normally like to take shots downfield, but if there was ever an opponent and ever a guy that they have on their team that they might want to take a chance with, that probably be this week. And of course, we have Randy Moss coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of intrigue here with Moss, a guy that, you know, I was just thinking about 2010 when he basically answered his own questions after that Patriots game, praised the Patriots, ripped Brad Childress from the Vikings, and was gone a day later unceremoniously. I mean, it was just an ugly picture. I don't think Moss is going to be much of a factor this week. I mean, he might be, but last week I think he only had 16 snaps, I heard, maybe one catch. Really wasn't too involved in the Niners passing game. They have enough options to go around, but you know, it'll be interesting to see what kind of introduction he gets in the Metrodome.
I think he's probably going to get a lot of loud noises. Probably be some cheers. That you'll probably see some 84 jerseys out there, but there's probably going to be some boos too, because I mean, if there was anything that he was the face sort of the implosion of 2010, and how he basically came in for 4 weeks and raised a lot of hell and didn't get a lot of things done. You mentioned that press conference in New England. A day later, Brad Childress, without even consulting ownership, jettisons him. That was a fiasco for a week, and a couple weeks later he was gone. Moss ends up on the bench in Tennessee for the final few weeks of the year. Is retired all of last year. Comes back. I think he realizes. I think he's pretty humbled right now. I think he realizes at 35 years old, I mean, his skills have diminished. I mean, he can still be maybe a decoy, that threat to quote-unquote take the top off a defense. Maybe keep some safeties downfield to open up some things underneath for San Francisco. But you know he's going to be motivated coming back here. He's never played a game as a visitor in the regular season. This is going to be a big opportunity for him to at least, you know, maybe put an exclamation point on his Minnesota days. And I mean, I think right now he realizes this is probably his last shot. He wants a chance at a ring, and the 49ers are going to give him that best opportunity.
And just so you know, you can't wear your 84 purple Moss jersey in the press box. You're going to have to put that away.
I know. I put it up. I've got it framed in my desk, actually. For those who don't know, he and I had a couple of run-ins in the 2 or 3 weeks he was here back in 2010. But you know what? The guy's nothing if not entertaining.
It's a good story. After the Jets game, Brian Murphy was like, well, Randy, you going to talk? He goes, no, I'm not going to talk. So Murphy kind of hovered around his locker room. He said, you got a problem? Murphy goes, yeah, I do have a problem. It was classic.
It was 1:30 in the morning also. I don't know if anybody was paying attention. Everybody was actually in the other room wanting to interview Brett Favre about Jen Sturger. So it was kind of one of those kind of crazy moments at 1:30 in the morning in New York.
My guy's a bulldog. Real quick, we want to talk lastly about Christian Ponder a little bit. I think he's played better than expected in a lot of ways. I know people have been ripping the offense a little bit because they're not putting up big points and they're settling for field goals a lot, sluggish first halves, but that's been by design a little bit. You know, they don't really have a deep passing game at all outside of maybe Percy Harvin. Still waiting on Jerome Simpson, who I don't think is going to be a savior like some are expecting.
Right.
But you know, for the most part, I think he's managed the game very well. If you say 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 60 or 76% completion rate right now, they would take that in a heartbeat first 2 games. You told him that a month ago.
And he was one of his biggest goals coming into the season was to be more accurate, to get more yardage on first downs. And yeah, in that sense, he's kind of become a game manager. I think you'd written that the other day. I mean, he's more of a guy that's at least going to get some, try to get some confidence going early, get some momentum going. And like you said, they're limited right now. I'm interested to see if they can get tight end John Carlson more into the mix. Obviously, Peterson, they want to try to establish something on the run, but this is the last shot they're going to have without Jerome Simpson. If Percy Harvin is really all they have with parallel shots at the line of scrimmage, I mean, you're probably not going to see him stretching the field much.
Yeah, the Niners are going to sit on him all day, and they have a very good defense. They're going to have to mix and match a little bit more and be less predictable. I'm Jeremy Fowler. This is Brian Murphy signing off.